Well, folks, data from week 2 of Blitz Skirmish Season 7 is officially in. The trend from week 1 of kind of a wide meta is certainly holding up with a few minor deviations. But with the battle-hardened Salt Lake win with Vynnset, will week 3 tell a different story? A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando Go Again, a fabulous cast. Thanks for checking in this evening as we go over the Blitz Skirmish Season 7 Week 2 results and kind of how that fits into the whole season, some shifts and stuff. Overall, still a wide meta, very, very much. And then after that, I want to talk Vynnset and how I think Vynnset's going to be picking up steam. But the question remains, is the 1 week left in Skirmish season going to be enough to see that shift or not? So what I have up right now is the summary through week 2. So do recall that there were a total of 536 estimated points available. That was from me looking at the beginning of the season and what was listed in Gem. That's the points we're working off. 329 points have been logged thus far in week 1 and 2. We also have 20 points for the Dusk Till Dawn season that have been assigned in the Battle Hardened that was at the Calling, and then the Battle Hardened in Salt Lake City. So another 20 points, 10 each there. Kassai leads the charge by a little bit at 14.6% of the wins, right? Definitely up from week 1. Chane is 14%. Kano is just under 10%, which again I think is a significant surprise. Very significant surprise, but again, the sideboarding thing, it has to have had a difference here. And then Aria is at 8.5%, and I do want to point out that is using only the data from the skirmish. That's throwing out the 10 points from the Calling, the Battle Hardened at the Calling, in which a Fatigue Drone Ira won. That was Calling Birmingham. Battle Hardened at Calling Birmingham, Drone Ira won 10 points there. So I took those 10 points away, and Ira's at 8.5% of the total field. Now, one thing that's interesting here is there's 207 total points remaining, again, working off of that 536 estimate. So roughly 200 points remaining, which is going to be, it means week 3 is going to be the biggest week of the 3 that we'll see. And that might be relevant again towards the conversation about Vynnset. All right, so bringing up the spreadsheet overall, obviously the spreadsheet's going to continue to get wider as we add rows. I've been trying to consolidate it a little. One thing I decided not to do this time around is I did not reorder the heroes based on their current points. I'm keeping them in the same order that they were at the start of the season. So there's some I like Chane. Chane has popped above Dorinthea now, for example. But overall, I think it's just easier to maintain the integrity. So looking at week 2, I've got a couple things highlighted there. The big winners, obviously, we have Kassai at 14.9%, and then we have Chane at 15.5%. Okay, very interesting there. Ira was at 7.5%, remember was just shy of 10% last week. And then Kano is actually down week over week. He started off at 11 week 1, and he's now just under 9%. That's what he logged last week, 8.5% last weekend. So I do think, I mean, that's a minor fluctuation kind of overall. I don't know if that's minor, right? I mean, I think people may be steering away from him, and I'm going to be very interested to see what happens week 3 on that, because he's certainly not doing what we thought he was going to do at the beginning of the season. He's still a very strong hero, and it has to be the sideboarding effect. I don't see any other way around it. Ira obviously is very, very high because of the fatigue thing, right? Drone is absolutely affecting this meta in very real ways, for the good or for the worse, whether, depending on which side of the fence you're on. I've heard a lot of people complaining about it, but again, that's the Dice Commando echo chamber, because you all are very aware that I don't like Drone. I am impressed to see what Dash is doing. Dash was roughly 10% last week, 8.5% this week. And then Rhinar had a pretty good week, actually, 7% of the wins. Bravo, roughly 7% of the wins. And then looking at the two Prisms together, we have a 4% and a 3%, so about 7% Prism if you look at the two. We had one win here in Portland on the Advent of Thrones, and it was pretty gross what happened. It was very gross what happened. So she's very scary. And then the last one I want to call your attention to is Vynnset there at the bottom. Now, again, this is removing the 10 points from the Battle Hardened. So this is looking just at Skirmish, 3% of the Skirmish wins. That said, anybody who's been playing Blitz on Talishar over the last, basically since the list, I mean, let's be honest, right? Yanji pulled down the win with Vynnset, and the list is up, and you see more people. That's what people do, right? They go copy lists and then they run them. I've been seeing a lot of Vynnset Blitz on, at least on Talishar, and obviously there's confirmation bias of the times that I'm on and all that. But I really think Vynnset's very strong. I think people have learned that, and now that they have a list to go off of, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some significant increase in Vynnset. Also because I think a lot of people don't know how to play against Vynnset as well. I certainly don't as well, right? I've had minor success with it, but it's about 50-50 success. But I do think that if a Vynnset that's finely tuned and someone actually has the reps with it shows up, you could prey on some people. So I do expect Vynnset to do better week 3. The question will be if people pivot on the last weekend, right? There's really no way to analyze that data either direction. You have to just kind of roll with it. So we'll see next week, when all's said and done, what she ends up doing for Blitz Skirmish season. But obviously, a lot of points to go at one point per win. Okay, so that's pretty much the data. Not too much more to talk about there. I mean, again, it's very, very clear overall that the sideboarding is having an effect on Kano. He needed 30% to make it. Not going to happen. No one's LLing this season. We already talked about that last time. Just not going to happen. It's a lot of points to go for all of these folks, and it's just not. It's not even. What would we say? There's 200 roughly points available. There's only 4 heroes, I suppose, now that could even do it, and they'd have to win like all of them. So not going to happen. Absolutely not going to happen. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below what you pulled down, if we had any wins, or if you saw any crazy things on Blitz season. And anyway, thanks for tuning in. Nothing else. Go Commando.